Hey guys, Shiro1101 here, and we're back in Bear Battlegrounds. Alright, so in the last episode I said that we're gonna keep on working on some special weapons, but I've actually been thinking recently a little bit about the actual supply crate idea, which is kind of the base thing that I was originally thinking about when I started making this map. So supply crates, I was thinking about how I was going to do them, and actually I think it's going to be kind of interesting, and I kind of want to do that right now. So yeah, we're just going to step right into it. So first of all, I think I have over here how I'm going to randomly determine where the supply crate is going to be spawned. So first thing is, let me actually just do that. So summoning a snowball over here. That's just for that's just so we can see it. It's riding a wither skull. The wither skull is what I'm actually going to be summoning in the real deal. I'll show you in just a moment. The wither skull has no direction, and it's riding on an ocelot with some invisibility, and it can't move. Generic movement speed base 0. Okay, so basically I'm summoning a wither skull riding an ocelot that can't move and is invisible. And the snowball is just an indicator so we can see, because wither skulls are invisible. Alright, so they're invisible when they're not riding another entity. Okay, so we summon that somewhere, I don't know where. Then we're going to run a spread players command, which will spread, which will basically determine a random location for the ocelot to be placed within the center-ish area of the map. Right now I just have it set for a 5-block radius of 310, which is right about here. So it's gonna spawn, it's gonna teleport to somewhere in this area randomly. Yeah, let's just take a look at that. There we go. Can do that again. It just teleports completely randomly in this area over here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill the cat, the ocelot. So then I have just the wither skull here, and then, like I said, the snowball is just an indicator. In reality, we won't have the snowball there. So then if I summon a creeper at all the wither skulls that currently exist, you'll notice that the wither skull is actually there. So we can use that. Alright, let's get rid of that. That's just this thing. Alright. Yeah, so these three commands. So we summon a wither skull riding an invisible cat that can't move. Then we spread players. Then we do spread players on the cat, and we kill the cat. The reason we can't just do a direct spread players on wither skulls is because I found out, I'm not sure exactly why or how it is, but it seems to me that spread players doesn't work on any projectiles, and projectiles meaning wither skull, fireball, throne potion, XP bottle, I don't know, arrow, snowball, all those kinds of things. Projectiles. Alright. So over here I have these three commands in a way that I can actually use. So over here, this is the actual command. I'm just summoning the wither skull this time without the snowball. So summoning the wither skull, riding the cat right over here, and in the same tick I'm spreading the cat. So it gets teleported to a random place, and here I kill the cat one tick later. Alright, so yeah, let's just give it a shot. You'll notice, by the way, that the cat seems to die here, so you'd think that maybe the wither skull is actually here, but in reality, although the particles in the cat sound is heard over here, right? If I do this thing again, you'll notice the creeper is over there, so that the wither skull is clearly over there. Let's just do that again. Do that again. Nope, okay. And, oh, mouse kind of spazzing out. Just get rid of that. You'll notice that the wither skull is in the same place, like, there's a wither skull there, clearly. Yeah, so let's get rid of those. Alright, so that is probably how I'm going to be determining the random location to spawn in the supply crate. Alright, get rid of these now. Oh yeah, this is something, these two commands are something I just kind of want to demonstrate. I don't really know what I'm going to be using it for at the moment, but it is something I want to demonstrate, so let's take a look at this. I'm summoning a Wither Skull up in the air that is riding a fireball with explosion power 0, and the Wither Skull has a UUID that I set over here. It's going to be 11111. If you don't know what a UUID is, you should probably look it up. It's short for Universally Unique Identifier. Basically, it's a string of hexadecimal numbers, hexadecimal digits that you have no fear that this number will never repeat itself in another entity. So basically, or unless you purposely tell it to. So you can use this number to refer to a very specific entity if you summon it with the custom UUID. And that's basically the entity's name. You can think of it as the entity's name. Okay, so I can summon a Wither Skull riding a fireball right there, and the Wither Skull's UUID is 11111. And then over here, I am adding 1 to the score of gun to any entity really with the UUID 11111. So let me scoreboard objectives, set display, sidebar, gun. I'm just using gun, by the way, because that's one of the only objectives I have set right now. So yeah, fireballs are kind of glitchy. Anyway, I'm gonna do that, and I'm just gonna. There you go. So you can clearly see that this works. You know, and there's a Wither Skull right there. And let me actually just summon another Wither Skull. Alright, there's a Wither Skull there now, and I'm gonna summon the creepers, right? So that works. But, oh, why did it summon 2 over there? That's a little weird. Did it summon 2 here again? That is a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, I'm gonna do score. Because as you'll notice right over here, that has a score of 3. And now if I just do, alright, kill all the creepers. So if you guys remember, there's a Wither Skull right there that has the UUID 11111 and has a gun score of 3, and there's a Wither Skull right there that is just a random UUID and doesn't have a score of gun at all. Yeah, let's do that right now, and you'll notice it only summoned the creepers. That's a little weird. But it only summoned the creepers where the 1111 guy was. If I now oh, I forgot a space here. You'll notice it also works. So I can refer to this guy in a unique way, given of course that I summon him with the set UUID. Alright, so let me just get rid of all entities, and I just wanted to show you guys that as an example of how I can get like how I can save a location using a Wither Skull and a UUID to specify a very specific Wither Skull. And reset player scores. Okay, so that's just a little demonstration I wanted to show you guys. And the next thing I want to show you guys is something over here, which is, I believe, how I'm going to have the mechanism that will decide what items will be in every supply crate. So I have an empty chest here, and it's going to spawn in a new empty chest here every time, and all these hoppers point into that one. And I have 3 droppers here, and they're each given a number, 1, 2, and 3. And they have items in them that are correspondent to the number, like the higher the number, the higher tier, the item. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a random number between, say, 10 and 20 for each supply crate. And then I'm going to randomly select one of these 3. One of the, like, 1 to 3, or if I have higher tier items than those. But anyway, I'm going to select a random tier, and then I'm going to do a check okay, every time I use up a tier, every time, say, I use a tier 2 item, then it's going to subtract 2 from the random number that was generated. So say I generated the random number 14. So this supply crate's name, or this supply crate's number is going to be 14. Every time I add a tier 2 item to that crate, it's going to subtract by 2. So if it was originally 14 and I added a tier 2 item, then it's going to be 12. I add a tier 3 item, it's going to be 9. So I'm going to select randomly one of these, and then I'm going to say, and then I'm going to do a little check to see that the score referring to that supply crate is still high enough to accept this number, because like if I only have 2 points left, I can't add a tier 3 item. So yeah, I'm gonna do a little check, and then I'm gonna add one of these, and then I'm gonna subtract this number from the score of the supply crate, and in that way I can kind of get a very random supply crate. And also after I put one of the various tier items into the supply crate, I'm going to respawn in the dropper over here with all the original items. These are just examples, by the way. I have no idea whatsoever what items I'm actually going to be using. Okay, so I have all of the logic for the supply crates in place, and I have a semi-final design going over here, and I want to quickly take you guys through it. I won't explain everything because there's too much to explain in the time frame of this video, but I'll try and do it as fast as I can and explain the maximum. Okay, so first of all, I added a little feature that is unrelated to the supply crates, where we have a little redstone clock over here, and that is, this feature is that you can use ender pearls freely without taking any damage. So this thing right over here, I'm going to start with this. This will teleport any ender mites into the void to die, and it does it faster than they can actually render over here, because in the 1.8 snapshots, when you use ender pearls, then you can have a slight chance of spawning an endermite, which is something we don't want. So yeah, that takes care of that. Then we are giving resistance 5 for 5 seconds to anyone who has a use pearl score of 1. Use pearl is a stat.useitem.enderpearl. So resistance 5 makes you completely immune to all damage for 5 seconds. And then we're resetting the score of use pearl. So quick demonstration. Let's go into adventure mode, and I can use ender pearls freely, no fear of taking any damage. I can throw it straight up. You'll notice that the 5 seconds just about last me. There we go, no damage taken. Alright, let's go back into creative mode and take a look over here. So first of all, this whole mechanism starts with just 2 commands. First of all, summon a chest item entity to right over here with some custom tags, and set a redstone block right over here. This little circuit is these two close by circuits are a randomizer that will randomly assign a score to that chest of a random number between 11 to 20. So there's 10 possibilities in this randomizer, 11 to 20. Randomly select one number for this supply crate, and it applies it for the objective crate. That's a new dummy objective, and there you can see the use pearl stat.useitem ender pearl. And then this redstone clock right over here tests for that chest entity having a score crate of at least 1, and if it finds that to be positive, then it will run this little clock, which will constantly randomly select one of these 3 positions to put a redstone block, with this being the most probable, this being less probable, and this being the rarest. So that gives some rarity to the different tiers, and as you can probably guess, this is tier 1 items, this is tier 2, and this is tier 3. The first command block in line here, these 3 lanes they do the exact same thing, by the way. They just lay it out a little bit differently. So the first command tests for that chest item with score 1. This test for score 2. This test for score 3. Then if it comes out positive over here, then we do 2 main things. We randomly put one of the appropriate tier items into this blank chest, and then we remove an appropriate number from the score of crate of this chest item entity. And then we have some reset stuff going on. Then once the score of crate reaches 0, this will depower and this torch will turn on, which sets 2 redstone blocks, one right here and one right here. This will summon an Ocelot with the attributes that we talked about before, invisibility and it can't move, and it has a UUID that spells out crate in hexadecimal ASCII, so that's pretty cool. And then we spread players on that cat, and then we execute at the cat, and we summon a Wither Skull with, again, a custom UUID that spells out crate in hexadecimal ASCII as well, but it's laid out differently. And then we teleport the cat into the void to die where nobody can see or hear him dying. So that's pretty cool. That's why I made the Wither Skull not riding the cat over here, so I could teleport the cat into the void to die where nobody can hear him. Then this signal over here was spawned at the same time as this, but it was delayed because of this repeater. This gets rid of it. By the way, this also gets rid of that redstone block. And then this is a pulse lengthener. It will keep this signal alive for about 7 seconds, and it plays some sounds and it does some animation. Again, playing some sounds and summoning. This summons a falling sand entity, and this continually summons on a very rapid clock. Summons some fireworks above 50 blocks above where the Wither Skull is, so that's where the supply crate is going to be spawned. So this runs for about 7 seconds to let everybody know exactly where it's going to be. You can see this from anywhere on the map, and you can see and hear it from anywhere on the map. And this will, once this signal runs out and this stops summoning the fireworks, this torch will turn on, which will play sound and summon that falling sand entity. Like I said, it also has a custom UUID, and it will deal a lot of damage to any entities that it comes by. And then with a very precise amount of delay, we will then execute at the Wither Skull, and we will clone this chest right over here to the Wither Skull. We will then execute at the Wither Skull again and set that block to air with the tag destroy, so it drops the items that were in the chest. That's very important. Then we kill the Wither Skull. We set this block right over here to chest, which will reset it. Then we play another sound, which is kind of a loud thump. And then we kill the falling sand entity that we summoned over there. So the final animation looks pretty much something like it's above where the Wither Skull is. It summons a bunch of fireworks. It plays some sounds, and then you start seeing a crate falling down from the sky. When it hits the ground, it makes a loud thump and drops all of its items. And then the Wither Skull is killed, and the whole process is over. So yeah, let's take a look at it in action. So you'll see it is randomly selecting these positions, and once it's done right there, it will play a sound, and then we see the fireworks, and we can get there, and that's the animation. Alright, let's take a look at that again, because I love seeing that so much. It's such a nice process. It really is nice in my opinion. It's pretty fast. It might seem a little slow, but it's pretty fast. And I mean, you won't be noticing this because it'll be on a random clock that will start a supply crate. It seems to be in a pretty close location to where it was before. But there we go. There it is again. Let's get rid of all the items and do it one final time. Hopefully it'll be in a different location this time. And I'm actually going to get myself some ender pearls this time to demonstrate the ender pearl thing once again. Okay, it's being very persistent with the location. It's not actually the same location, but it's pretty close. But I'm going to let it fall on my face. And for some reason I didn't die. I was supposed to die. Oh, right, because I still had the resistance from the ender pearl, probably. Yeah, okay, that's a little side effect, but you know, in some games where when you teleport, you get resistance or invulnerability for just a little bit to get accustomed to your new location. But anyway, yeah, I don't really care about that. It's all fine. But yeah, that is pretty much it. I hope I did that fast enough. I guess you'll find out. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I really did enjoy this myself because it was really fun to set this up. But like I said, that's pretty much it. So I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, take care. Bye bye.